Well, I do welcome you all in to 30-Minute Musings for a Saturday morning edition of the 30-Minute Musings. However, it's one of those days where all of a sudden everyone has become an expert and everyone has become a fan. It happened maybe a month ago when Prince died, but now Muhammad Ali has passed. So everyone's an expert. And everyone's going to call him the GOAT, greatest of all time. The GOAT, the G-O-A-T. Like, rest in peace, GOAT. And I mean, they don't mean GOAT like, sometimes that's used as a negative connotation. They're like, this guy's a gamer, this guy's a GOAT. It's been used in that reference, but greatest of all time. So there's going to be all kinds of that across social media. Facebook and Twitter, blowing up with that stuff. ESPN now, by all means, they should do something. Quite an advocate for sports was Muhammad Ali, okay? Now I suppose I can take that same path and be like, I'm a total expert on Muhammad Ali. I'm not going to say that I'm an expert, but I figure I may as well dip into this a little bit. Hey, when Prince died, nothing I could really say about it. I wasn't going to be a fake fan. I know the guy taught himself how to play like 20 plus instruments, and he was creative beyond what people would even give him credit for, but there's not so much I can speak on that. So I guess with Muhammad Ali, I can kind of give a little bit of insight with things. Maybe not so much insight, maybe you know this already, but just to show you here at 4:53 in the morning on a Saturday, it's not as if I stayed up all night watching, highlight films and checking down stats and reading internet clippings. This was just stuff that I had found out quite a while back, and it just kind of stayed locked into memory. Because there was a good chunk of time there where I wouldn't call myself a boxing historian, not by any fucking stretch. Heavyweight boxing. I mean, not to say anything bad about your guys like Marvelous Marvin Hagler and Sugar Ray Leonard and guys like that. But everybody wants to talk about, something recent. Oh, Roy Jones Jr., one of the greatest fighters of all time. And now you got Floyd Mayweather, probably the greatest boxer of all time. Like, guys, Mike Tyson. Oh, he was the greatest. Mike Tyson, no one could touch this guy. Yeah, they could. When he lost once, he lost repeatedly. Muhammad Ali, now I know his career record was something like 56-5. God forbid if I have that locked to memory from like 20 years ago. But I believe Muhammad Ali's professional record was 56-5. And one thing that I credit I call it old time, but whatever, like classic, vintage, heavyweight boxing with is, well, there's a reason that I consider that to be all the best. Now, there are only two boxers at the heavyweight level in my mind that deserve to be put up towards the top of the list. That, of course, is Muhammad Ali and Joe Louis, who had, if I recall correctly, a career record of 63-3 and defended the heavyweight title more than anybody or for a longer stretch than anyone. It was something along those lines. Maybe that's been broken since. I kind of doubt it, because heavyweight boxing hasn't meant shit since Mike Tyson lost to James Buster Douglas in like 1990. Just to give you a reference of how long heavyweight boxing has been shit. It's all just been hype and hope. Now, for the longest time, decades and decades, boxing was really the only sport where you could make some fucking money. You weren't, playing for the love of the game like Babe Ruth or, whatever, playing football, all these old fuckers, Otto Graham, names you hardly hear of anymore. Everybody looks at like, the NFL started with like Joe Montana in the 80s. And it's not that at all. The commercialization and the big money did. I think O.J. Simpson was like the first NFL player to get a $1 million per year contract or something. I could be wrong. Reggie Jackson was like the first big contract baseball player, and I think that was somewhere in the late 70s into the 80s when he went to the Yankees. The only sport where you could make some good money, not back in the day, but before back in the day, was boxing. And the heavyweights, well, who cares about junior, feather, middle, ultra lightweights? You know, who cares about that crap? Honestly. I mean, guys my size, all right, I just turned 34 about a week ago. There's guys like my age, and they're like some little Venezuelan kid or something like that, or, you know, they're nothing. They're shorter than me. They weigh less than me. I'm a tall 5'8" and a short 5'9". These cats are like 5 foot, like they couldn't be a jockey, so they just had to be a boxer. And sure, maybe they're good at what they do. I'm not disputing that. Disputing. Why do we always, there's always an undisputed champion in boxing. If it's undisputed, what's all the fighting about? Anyway, that's a George Carlinism, but boxing was really the only sport where you could make some good money. I mean, really fucking good money. Plus, there was political kind of vibes to it. I mean, think about that. Muhammad Ali and Smoking Joe Frazier, calling him an Uncle Tom, you know. Ali, you know, born Cassius Clay, right? He was known as the Louisville Lip because he would never shut the fuck up. But he'd get inside your head and he'd irritate the fuck out of you before you guys even stepped in the ring. He had people beat mentally before they even got in there. I mean, the classics against Liston and George Foreman. Ali was, sometimes they'll say, oh, he's way ahead of his time. Dude, Ali was the time. Not only would he tell you what time it was, but he would tell you how the watch was made, and he'd beat the shit out of you while doing so. And he'd walk out of the fight still pretty as a girl, because he'd be peppering you with those long-arm jabs. He wasn't a powerful type puncher, but he had great speed, great reach. And like I said, he'd be fucking with your mind. He would fight you a different way than you were ready for. And like I said, a lot of that was just mentally done. He would have people beat before the fight even started. And think about this, like everybody wants to bring up whatever, you know, flavor of the month boxer that there is nowadays. People want to know Riddick Bowe was pretty good. Evander Holyfield was pretty good. Then you get these lightweight guys. Manny Pacquiao, Floyd Mayweather, Roy Jones Jr. Oh, the greatest boxer ever. He's great. He's the great. No. It's not even close. It's Muhammad Ali. Because here, through the 1960s, was a black man from Kentucky. Okay? During the 1960s, here's a black man from Kentucky running his fucking mouth and backing it up. World champion. And then he didn't want to go to Vietnam because it was against his religious beliefs. He sat in prison for prime years of his life. I forgot, I looked this up a while ago, and I forgot, it was like from age 26 to 29. I think he sat like 3 years in prison. But he sat in prison during prime years of his physical peak. Came back and still won the World Heavyweight Championship. Like, how that no one else could ever fucking do that. Okay? And like I mentioned Joe Louis. Here's a black man, and maybe I'm a little off on the times here, but I think in the 30s and 40s. Joe Louis was a fucking beast of an athlete, great boxer. And this is during like Hitler, you know, white supremacy kind of shit. So that's why I put these two at the top of my heavyweights list. I know Rocky Marciano was undefeated. I know that. And I know Rocky Marciano beat Joe Louis. Joe Louis was technically 63-1 when his career was done. He came back and lost those last two fights because he was having like tax problems and he needed money for those last two fights. So for me, for my money, Joe Louis is 63-1. He lost to Max Schmeling, who was a German, and I don't know if he was like one of Hitler's boys, but I mean, because he was German, he was beloved by the Germans. But in their rematch, mind you, Joe Louis whooped the fuck out of Max Schmeling. I mean, killed him so bad that the Germans actually cut the fucking audio line back to the German the audio feed. Joe Louis in the rematch kicked Schmeling's ass. Something terrible. Won that rematch like a motherfucker. And Joe Louis, to me, is still one of the greatest boxers that no one ever fucking talks about. I don't know why. I mean, I know it was so long ago, but, you know, at the same time, you know, the Olympics, I think, was in Berlin. And Jesse Owens is standing there on a black man standing on the gold medal stand right there and like in front of all of Nazi Germany. That's fucking powerful. Everybody remembers that. They forget about mentioning Joe Louis's name for like, you know, minorities making a fucking stand and a half. So, and plus a record of 63-3, that's huge. But still, Muhammad Ali, still, yeah, they call him the greatest. He called himself the greatest of all time. He's the only guy that can give himself a nickname or a title, and it's okay. Kobe Bryant can call himself the Black Mamba. Well, what the fuck is a snake? Okay, yeah, okay. Give yourself a stupid nickname. Good for you. That doesn't sound cool. A Black Mamba. I don't know. I don't get it. But you can't give yourself a nickname. Muhammad Ali's the only guy that can do that. Muhammad Ali is the only guy that can say he's as pretty as a girl, and no one questions his masculinity or his toughness or his manhood. You know? No one. But for him to, you know, sit out the Vietnam War, avoid the draft, sit in prison for, I think it was 3 or 4 years. It could have been 5 years, I forgot exactly. But prime peak years of his physical ability. After he serves his prison term, he comes back and wins the world title. Are you fucking serious? There's nobody else that would ever do that. Let's just say that things got bad in the world, not to say that they're good, but... And let's take somebody like, maybe you know the name, maybe not, depending on your sports knowledge, Andrew Luck, quarterback of the Indianapolis Colts. People would argue he's probably the best pure quarterback in the NFL right now. And he's still young yet. He's, I don't know, probably younger than he's way younger than me. He's probably 10 years younger than me. He's probably 24. And this guy is a stellar, a great athlete, tremendous quarterback, all things around. Let's just say that, you know, there's a military draft, and he says, no, I refuse, I will sit in prison. And let's just say that he does about 5 years, comes back and wins league MVP and or a Super Bowl. Something like that. Like, that's kind of what happened with Ali. And people, maybe they tend to forget that, but like I said, because Ali has passed, everyone's suddenly an expert, but they're gonna mention a few things. They're gonna show the picture. You know, they're going to commemorate him with that picture standing over Sonny Liston. They're going to commemorate him maybe with a little picture of the rope-a-dope against George Foreman. But it's like, you don't understand. And hey, okay, I'm as white as a fucking napkin. I don't know racial oppression, especially in the, like I bring up Joe Louis. I don't know racial oppression in the 30s and the 40s. Or I don't know like Ali in the 60s and 70s. And even when these guys were growing up, it was even worse, I'm sure. But I don't know racial oppression. But these guys were, like I said, at the top of their sports fucking level. Oh, by the way, the toll to $3.95 is right now 50 cents. It changes every fucking day. That bothers me. Haven't been looking for license plates. I'm just going and talking Ali shit here. And I know we can make all the Coming to America jokes. His mama called him Clay, I'ma call him Clay. Great movie, and I love that scene, but you know. Well, okay, there. I made the movie reference. I guess that's done. That's out the way. But, for fuck's sakes. Everybody's suddenly going to be an expert and put like some kind of... Alright, if there's one weird way that I can make some sort of commemorative thing about Muhammad Ali, this recording for 30-minute musings, yes. This is one of them. And two, I'm heading into work really early, my usual Saturday routine now. what do I have that might coincide with what I'm doing with the whole Muhammad Ali thing? Well, I'm just wearing a plain-ass t-shirt right now. It's not a Fruit of the Loom t-shirt. It's not a Hanes t-shirt. It's an Everlast t-shirt. Which, if Michael Jordan really made the Nike brand popular, like a household name, so to speak, Muhammad Ali did that for Everlast. So, it might be the slightest bit of a nod. But there's something, you know. I'm not going to claim to be a Muhammad Ali expert, a boxing expert, a heavyweight boxing expert. But I guess I can challenge you the least bit, you know. Joe Louis was 63-3, Muhammad Ali was 56-5. I should be correct on those numbers. Well, hell, here's something for you. Excuse me. Down here in Miami, this is where Muhammad Ali won his first heavyweight title, if I know correctly. Because that was kind of, it was everybody raised an eyebrow. Remember, everyone's a Muhammad Ali expert, but remember when the Miami Marlins opened up this brand new stadium? I think it was like in 2010. They left, they used to play in the football stadium where the Dolphins play in the NFL. Joe Robbie, pro player, whatever you want to call it. They played baseball on a football field. But through city commission and taxpayer dollars, because the owners are fucking chump cheap motherfuckers, they built a new stadium, Marlins Park. And when the building opened up for opening day, Muhammad Ali threw out the first pitch. And everybody's like, why Muhammad Ali? Why Muhammad Ali? It's like, motherfucker, you don't know? It's like he has ties down here. Won his first championship. I think it was at the Orange Bowl, which Marlins Park is physically located in the same, like on the same plot of land. I mean, because the Orange Bowl had been torn down, don't get me wrong. Like it was kind of a dump in its own unique way. But it's pretty much on the same plot of land. Marlins Park is basically where Joe Namath made the guarantee and won that Super Bowl. Same plot of land. But yeah, Marlins Park opened up. The Marlins, I think they were playing the Mets for opening day the home opener. I don't know if it was opening day, but I think the Marlins were playing the Mets. Josh Johnson was the starting pitcher for the fucking Marlins, if I remember right. I remember I was sitting at, I think that was the one. I was sitting at a Duffy's Sports Grill, just off of the Intercoastal, Southeast 17th Street, down by me in Fort Lauderdale. I'm pretty sure that's what it was. But yeah, Muhammad Ali threw out the first pitch for that one. And people were like, well, why is Muhammad Ali here? What's up with him? He's not from here. He's the Louisville Lip. He's from Kentucky. Oh, for fuck's sakes. It's like, never mind. Okay, just never mind. But all of a sudden today, everybody's going to be an expert. And it's bad too. Apparently there was, Ali was having like a really bad respiratory issue, like in the past couple days. Because I mean, when ESPN makes a little, puts it on the scroll, the ticker on the bottom of the screen, hospitalized for whatever, you're like, fuck, I mean, the guy had the damn bout with Parkinson's from whatever age. I mean, when he came back strong, like towards the late 70s, early 80s to fight Larry Holmes, you could just tell that he seemed a couple of steps off. And I mean, sure, like, I'm a wrestling fan. He was, he had his run-ins with pro wrestling through the years. My brother just sent me a text. It's 5 o'clock in the morning. Well, probably the Ali thing. Sadly. I mean, I don't want to check it right now, but I'm guessing. But Muhammad Ali was at WrestleMania. WrestleMania 1, that is to say. And here's a stupid question. I'm not sure, like I said, I'm not trying to be an expert. Is Muhammad Ali a WWE Hall of Famer? He should be in the celebrity wing easily. If Pete Rose is, Muhammad Ali's got to be. If there's any Hall of Fame, that Muhammad Ali, whatever business, company, empire, league, whatever, Muhammad Ali should be a part of it. I don't care. If he ever, spit out lyrics for a song, he should be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. It's like, it's tough to imagine. Like I said, I'm no expert, but this guy going through political strife, going through racial strife of the fucking 60s, and to think of everything that he did, I mean, look it up and then try to put yourself into that time frame. Like this to me is bigger. Muhammad Ali is bigger to me, and maybe because I like sports, maybe that's a biased point of view, I understand, but to me he's bigger than what Beatlemania was in the 60s. Excuse me. Oh. Damn. I had that sniffle going, that was showing up. Oh. Pardon me for strike 3. That was, normally I only sneeze once or twice. Fuck it, let's back it up with a yawn right there. And I know that's blasphemous to say, the Beatles are bigger than Muhammad Ali. I really don't think so. I don't. 4 white guys coming over from fucking England. Oh, by the way, first one that I've noticed, a Wisconsin plate. No joke, Wisconsin is on the board at 5:12 in the morning. I haven't noticed any other plates, but I just crossed 441 and we were stuck at the light there for like 2 seconds. And there's emergency lights up ahead, so that's fun. We'll pass up police doing their thing. But I mean, to think, to me, yeah, Ali's probably one of the bigger things through all of the 1960s. I mean, well, outside of the civil rights movement itself, do I have to take a fucking detour because of this fucking police shit up here? Oh no, they're off to the side, okay. Like the road curves, it looks like they were blocking the entire street, but I need to round the corner here. It was an optical illusion. But, yeah, just to think, I wasn't born in the 60s, I wasn't nowhere near being alive in the 60s. My parents were 10, 11 years old when the civil rights movement shit was going down, 63 I think it was, when JFK got killed, all that stuff. I mean, they were 10, 11 years old when that's going down, so I was nowhere near a thought yet. That took another 20-some years, I guess, right around there. But it's not like I lived through it and I can tell you from fact, but just think about it. Racial strife here in the fucking States, let alone the rest of the world. I mean, the rumble in the jungle, Foreman versus Ali. I don't know. How bad was racial oppression going on through other parts of the world? Where Muhammad Ali had to be somewhat of an ambassador for the fucking United States. A country that was kind of divided against loving him or hating him based on the color of his skin. And he's the top representative for boxing, the heavyweight champion of the world. And he lives in the States, where the whole black and white thing is still an issue today, And I can't claim as to when, racial shit going on, when all that crap was at its peak. Well, slavery, yeah, Civil War, before that even. I do have an allergy, something's trying to get me to sneeze and get a runny nose altogether. Ugh. But everyone wants to become a Muhammad Ali expert all of a sudden. You'll see it all across Facebook and Twitter, on Instagram, you'll see it all. Just before I was going to bed last night, and I did not sleep easy. Making my turn here by Old Down West Island Drive by the North Perry Airport, by the way. But if on Thursday it was kind of said that Ali was hospitalized with respiratory issues, Friday, just before I'm going to bed here, said he was on life support. And I believe he passed at, 74 years old? Man. I mean, it's kind of bad where a huge chunk of his life, I mean, the bout with Parkinson's and just, how hampered that made him. I mean, the shit that he did with his life while he was still, fully going, while he was the man, speaks volumes. Because, I mean, basically since, I don't know, mid to late 80s, pretty quiet. Pretty quiet with, everything that he was doing, whether it was trying to be an ambassador and a spokesman for the fucking U.S. over in North Korea for, I forget what the hell that was for. You can look that up. I think that was somewhere early 90s, I think it was. He went over with some of the wrestling guys again. Peace talks or something, just being a representative for the United States as a athlete and all this stuff. He was still making appearances and doing these things, but I mean, you would say like most of his life he was kind of not in seclusion, but think of how impactful his life was. And most of his life, you could probably say, well, he was a shell of himself. He was, the illnesses and the shit that was slowing him down. I don't know. The things that were ailing him, I'll put it that way. His illnesses, the things that were ailing him, had him pretty much slowed down to the point where, damn, that's Muhammad Ali. And it's sad, it just, when things happen like that to anybody. But in thinking of like who he was, what he meant, and how impactful he was at the prime of his career, in the prime of his life, and to keep such an impact like that. And when he did it, makes a big difference. People want to say, well, this guy was a really good boxer. Oscar De La Hoya, was a really big name in boxing. During like the 92 Olympics when I was 10 years old, remember the basketball, the Dream Team, right? That was the big thing in Barcelona, the Dream Team. Well, Oscar De La Hoya, they called him the Golden Boy because I'm, gold medalist and all this stuff and championships and another one of those junior, middle, ultra feather, light bantamweights. Probably a good boxer in his own right, but nowhere near what Ali had to go through. If Ali came up right now, we would probably just say, well, this guy makes great fucking fodder for sports talk radio, maybe in political talks and all this shit. But doing what he did decades before anybody else even thought to or had the knowledge to do so, give me a break. Plus, being a black man in the 60s. Shit, even being a black man now probably ain't the easiest thing. People are going to hold that over your head like a fucking, I don't know, like a curse. Or like you owe them a favor for some fucking reason. But he's doing this during the politically strifed, racially strifed 60s. Sat out the Vietnam War. Oh, there's one for you. He sat in prison for the Vietnam War, served his term, came out and won the heavyweight championship, and people would still dog him for that. Calling him, whatever kind of racist name you want to. Meanwhile, Sylvester Stallone dodges the fucking Vietnam draft, goes into Italy, and makes like porn. The Italian Stallion. You don't get that nickname for no reason. And he comes back and starts making Rambo movies of Vietnam's fucking hero. And still in Hollywood, he's like loved. I don't fucking get the double standards. But greatest of all time, pretty as a girl. Still and always will be Muhammad Ali. I mean, you can say this about only a few people. Well, you can say it about a lot of people in whatever sports, entertainment, media, music, whatever. There's only going to be one of this. Whatever, a Babe Ruth, a Hank Aaron, a Joe Montana, a Michael Jordan. Muhammad Ali, it didn't matter what the fuck he did. He was going to be great. Wouldn't you know? And he was. So I'm not claiming to be an expert on Muhammad Ali shit, but just trying to put it into somewhat of a historical reference. Think of what he did, look up what he did, when he did it, under the circumstances that he did it. That's why he was the greatest. So for 30-minute musings, till we meet again, I'll catch your ass down the road.